Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. These webinars are daily webinars that I do for my group, but we will share them on YouTube this week. We've been doing that for the last couple of weeks as well. These videos are free for everyone to look at. And this week, the videos are also promotional, which means that I'll be reminding you that we have a live course coming up, live training course coming up on the 19th of this month, not the 19th of May, the 19th of this month, because somebody yesterday asked me if it's the 19th of May. It's the 19th of this month. If you would like to join our group, please send me a Skype message. The Skype message is under the description, under any one of my videos in the description. You'll find it there. If you're watching my video for the very first time and you want to know what this is all about, it's called wave analysis. One trader asked me, how do I come to create my own wave analysis theory? Well, it's not like I created out of thin air. I studied Elliott wave theory. I studied Dow theory. I studied a lot of technical analysis. I studied all the things you could study out there, support and resistance, Ichimoku, all the kind of, everything that exists out there. I've studied it all, and I still study them. And I've come up with mostly accidentally, to be honest, come with the fact that we have managed to isolate and identify what is a single wave, and then we're using that as a measurement for waves. It's like you have to have a measurement for anything, right? If you're selling something, it has to have weight, it has to have volume, and it has to have size. If you have anything that doesn't have weight, volume, or size, you can't tell what it is. And that was a big problem with Elliott wave. They couldn't isolate what is a single wave. That was my biggest problem when I was labeling. I had no way of telling where is the end of the A wave and where is the B wave and where is the C wave. Now, you can make any pullback. And I've seen traders do this, and I think it's absolutely wrong. I knew it was wrong when I was learning Elliott wave because it wasn't working well. What was wrong was traders would what I call fix the chart to prove. So if you believe as a trader that this is an impulse down, and this would be a correction, you're going to get an impulse. And if you believe that this is a motive wave, which you don't know as yet, but if you believe it, then you would want to label this 5 waves, right? And traders start fixing 5 waves where there is not 5 wave. So I looked at a wave like this. And I've seen traders label wave like this from here to here as a 5-wave structure. And they would literally write something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you look at it, it looks good. You have 5 in the 5 waves, but it doesn't make sense that a correction like this is equal to a correction like this. And that was my biggest problem. As a matter of fact, I would look at it and say, well, this doesn't look right. And you will see that in many Elliott wave structures because it's wrong. I think Elliott never came about to tell us how we should look at that, but he did mention, if you read his work properly, he did mention that these corrective structures must have a similarity of the looks. He didn't give you in detail what he meant by that, but similarity of looks, which means that you can't have 2 equal degree correction looking vastly different. And I've seen many Elliott waivers, even those who call themselves super Elliott waivers, people who are giving you certificate when they teach you Elliott wave, made the same mistake. It's wrong. And that is why Elliott wave as a theory never really come out to be, for so many years, never been used that much. Once I isolated and said, no, that is wrong. This is how we can measure it. And this is how we would correct what is not so correct about Elliott wave theory. And it started to work really well. And then I started telling people I'm not Elliott waver anymore. I'm a wave theory trader. And now you would see that as a movement is growing because there's a lot of wave theory traders out there, wave traders out there, they call themselves. That is good. I'm pretty happy I've started something really nice because they've all come, they've learned my course, whether they did it privately, publicly, or secretly. They took the course and they're sharing the good work. And I'm happy they're sharing it. Because somehow the knowledge is free, right? It must be shared. So let them share it. Now, if you would like to learn it, you can join us. Or you can join anybody if you want to learn it. Make sure you're learning the right thing. But the main thing why you may want to join our group is not because of just the wave theory analysis and all the knowledge you're going to get, because you might get most of that knowledge from my videos as well. but it's because you're going to be trading together with a group of amazing, successful traders, professional traders who are trading daily as a way of making money for their living. We have a lot of people like that in the group. And you may want to be in that group. That's the only reason you might want to be with them. So make your decision. Let's go. Like I said, these videos are going to be promotional for this week. After that, you'll never hear me talk about this again. Let's go. So yesterday we were, sorry, let me go back to the dollar index. Yesterday we were in the dollar index and I was telling you, expect this to correct and you could get short-term sells. We got some very nice trades yesterday and I think today we're going to get more sells. I think this wick is not valid. I don't think that wick exists. And here I checked it on a few more charts. It's not there. You can check it. It's not there. It doesn't exist. So this is a small correction. Let me go back to the one I'm in. If you go, there's a small correction happening here, which means it's more downside. So gold, it's correcting. And I still think that, I don't know whether this correction is enough. It kind of go up, but we're still within this impulse, which means I wouldn't be surprised if they come back here and then go. Pretty much like this. I think we might see it come back here first and then they go. We will get to about this top. I showed you that already. I expect them to get to that top. It could be that they're going to go like this without coming back. If you get a buy setup, you could take it. Use a stop where if they do come back to this level, they're not going to take you out. Because it's possible they could come back here and then go to that level. And from here, we're expecting them to go down. Right? I would be looking at this as a flat pattern. So we're looking for a buy setup here today, whether we get it immediately or whether we get it a little later, we'll see. Silver already consolidated quite a lot. But this piece is looking more, more corrective than the rest. This could go actually. So you may want to take the trade, but you'll have to make sure that don't put a stop here because keep a stop lower there if you want to trade this, right? There's a good chance this could come back, break that low, and then go. So you don't want that to happen to you. Let's go. Euro. So what I told you yesterday, you may want to take the sell, but you have to be careful that the sell might just do this and go right back up, which means you're going to close the sell, you're going to go for the buy. See how easy it is? Works like magic. Because we understand what the patterns are doing and what are the possibilities of the patterns. You don't have to be absolutely right about this. And this is the part where I differ from Elliott Wave. You don't have to say that the pattern is making, that the structure is making this wave or this pattern. Because many times it might not be making the wave you think it's making or the pattern you think it's making. But if you know all the patterns and all the possibilities, which means there are more than one possibilities, right? There's more than one. This could have fallen. Honestly, it could have fallen. We don't know that. It could have stopped here and go back up. We didn't know that yesterday. But we know of both of those possibilities. We understand the bigger structure and we understand what it's doing. Now, knowing that is what is important. That gives you the edge in the market. That's the difference. That's the biggest difference. What I found out is that sometimes Elliott Wavers believe that this is what it's going to do. They'll label A, B, C, and then they'll draw a line there and said it's going to come to the 2.7, to the 6.18 or 50, and then go back up there. And I'm like, no, it's not going to do that. You can't tell the charts what to do. You have to follow what the chart is doing, and then you try to take advantage of that. See? So I don't care what the pattern is going to be, as long as it's a pattern that we know when it's formed. So we saw this, and we know for a fact that that was going to break, because that's what that does most of the time. If it was going up like this, I told you watch it at this level for the buy. Now it dropped, go back up, you got the trade. It's making another correction. Now I don't think this is a very small one, so I don't think this one is ready to go. You do have 1, 2, 3. It's a small expanding flat. At the moment, if it's ready to go, you'll have to have an entry order above the top. No, you'd have to be a little careful because, okay, I can't go too detail into that, but you'll have to be a little careful here because this might just break the top and come back. And there's a reason for that we're not going to go into detail. There's a possibility you might get a deeper correction like this. We're actually correcting to the upside. So let me just go to the bigger structure and show you what we're doing again. We're correcting to the upside. Let me see if I can, where's the drawing tool? Yep. We're correcting, we're breaking out of this, but that's not an issue. Just breaking doesn't mean an issue, but based on what we have in the chart, the possibility is this is going to be a deeper correction. If it is a correction, it is a deeper correction that could come back here and then go, or this could take off like a rocket to the upside. So you absolutely want this buy. There are reasons for that, right? You want this buy. Now what you're going to look for is when you get to this level, what happens? And the trend line is irrelevant. I'm just drawing the trend line to show you the possible patterns that I'm looking at. Because based on what we know, or the way we look at charts, once this do something like this, we're going to get one more lower. Now, if we're wrong, it will take off. But I think we're going to get one more lower. Come back here and maybe then upside, if they're going to go up. If this shows us that it's not a very big correction and starts to drop, we will be in the sell. So for now, short term, as a corrective structure, you're buying. And there's a buy setup on the chart right now that you might want to take. Pong, same thing, correcting up. Pong has the same structure, which means we knew this was going to break out, and the correction is going to be bigger, most likely, because, well, divergence is there. Let me just give you a little help there. Divergence is there, which is telling us that this could go. It could make a new high, or it could make a bigger correction here and drop. So we're in either the new high or the bigger correction. It didn't come very low, so once you saw that pattern, that was a buy, you're getting another buy setup here. Now we've got to be careful with this one. That could go very short, then come back deeper, and then go. Possibility like this. This could have dropped there yesterday, didn't. It could still drop like this, give you a running flat, and then go back up, because this is pretty sharp. But you have a buy setup on it today. And if you're going to take the trade, you should be aware, just like the euro, it might just break the top. Come back here for a deeper correction and then go. So if you're going to be trapped there, make sure you either exit the trade, right? Get out for break even. Wait till it comes here and look for another buy. If you get a chance to sell it, good for you. What if it takes off? Well, you're in the trade. When you take the trade, you're not worried about whether it's going to take off, because that is what you're expecting it to do. What you need to do is, if it doesn't go the way you want it to go, you have to start managing the trade. Aussie, upside. So if you took this one, I took this trade, I actually took it here, right? You took the trade, you close for profit, put an entry over here. We're looking for another buy setup. New Zealand, same thing. New Zealand, we didn't buy yesterday. I didn't say you should buy the New Zealand because we were here, and there was a good chance we could come back to this level for the flat. Now that they're moving out of that zone, and now that we have divergence, you still have to be careful that we can still do this, but now we would likely go back up there. This would be more of a pattern of its own here and then upside. So if you get a sell setup here, it's still possible. If not, put an entry for a buy there, because they all have a small move up. Very likely this impulse could end here, come back deep, and then go. If they're going to take off, well, good for you. So if you're taking any one of these small buys, you have to manage them, because they might just break the top and come back. CAD, this was a good sell for us. Sold it from there. We closed the trade, and we're getting another sell setup. CAD might go back and retest the low, because they come back into the channel that we had, the trend there. We broke out here slightly. We came back. We broke out there slightly. Come back. You just have to change the channel trend. We can't change it as yet, but we will change it eventually. There's a good chance this is going to work its way back to the low here and then go up. At any one time, this thing could go up. If you watch the daily, video that I made, the video on the daily charts, the long-term one, you will see the possibility that it could even get to this level and then start the upside, right? You might want to look at that so you have a daily perspective. Swiss, this is one we sold as well. I told all of you, put your entry order there. Close the trade once it starts to pull back. We close the trade. My traders know once it starts to pull back, you're closing the trade. Waiting for the next one to sell. If we get a flag here, we'll sell it. If they consolidate a lot here, like they did here, it's still a sell setup. I still think this is a sell setup because the potential of this is very huge. You can see when they move up, they pull back, they go, they pull back. This is just a pullback. So this is another sell setup. Now, it depends on how aggressive you are. You can either put your entry order here or look for another entry. That's your choice. What strategy you're using, I don't know. Now, this is a small one. Again, you have to be careful. But I think if there's anyone that is going to fall really strong, it could be this today. Yen. Yen went down a little. We had a buy entry at the top here. It dropped. No problem. Like I said, we're not looking for the sell in the yen because this is a correction. You're probably going to go down here a little more. As of now, I'm still not looking for the sell in the yen because I want to see the yen break this top first. There's a reason for that. So this deeper correction, just correction. That's it. This move down is a corrective structure. The move down on the Swiss is an impulsive structure. Now that's the difference. If you understand the difference of those two, how we're looking at those two. If this move goes down the way we think it's going and where it's going, it should go impulsively. The yen is in a corrective structure. So maybe it's going to move a lot, but I will not be selling the yen as yet. Not even today when we have a good sell setup. I'm not looking for a sell. I'm looking for the buy when we break this structure to the upside or from a low going up there. Which, by the way, if you know, I took a buy and I closed it already because it didn't go the way I wanted to go. I bought it yesterday here and I closed it this morning. I bought it yesterday here and closed it this morning because it wasn't going the way I thought they would just reverse back to the top, and they didn't do that. So close the trade. It's a sell today. It's a short-term sell. We're not selling. I'm not selling the yen. Now, yen could go down 2,000 pips. I know people would say, look, this thing drop wire into selling is a good sell setup. I'm selling the Swiss because the Swiss is an impulsive move to the downside. Now, I could be wrong about that. The whole thing about this is not being right. It's about understanding the structure and deciding which structure has the highest probability for the biggest move. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's not a big deal, right? So we got very nice trades this, and I think we're going to get very nice trades today. Aussie Yen. You're in a corrected structure, short-term sell, or you can wait for the sell to finish and then go for the buy. See this here? Wait for this to come, break this low, and then look for the buy setup. If you take the sell, it's going to be short-term. So you have one, you get this here. This will probably come here, go back there, come back here, and then go. That's what you're looking at. Take the buy here. Once it comes to this level, once it comes back to this level here, take the buy because it's going to break the top. And once they break the top, you can start to get a running flat. You might get this one way at the top there, and then they go. So if we get a buy setup here today, we're going for that trade. It's going to come down first. Let me just go through back that again. I expect this here to break down here first, come back to about this level, and then go. If we break the top, then we don't have to come back to the low. If we break the top and we do this, let me just erase this. If this goes and break the top like this, they'll just do this and then go. It's a buy setup, right? You get this, and then you'll expect it to come back here and then go. New Zealand yen, same thing. CAD yen, same thing. CAD yen is a better one. CAD yen does not have that extra running flat. It's just a regular flat, a bigger regular flat for upside. Swiss yen, same thing. Swiss yen does not have a running flat. You already had a running flat here. See this? So this is just correction, but we just broke the top and it's not going. I'd be careful of the Swiss yen. Don't. Just put an entry order, and if it goes slow again like that, just take it off. But the way it's going really slow. I would not be, Or there is a chance that this turned out to be a bigger running flat. This is part of this one. There is a chance you could be looking at this one here. Maybe I make a mistake. That's a smaller one there, and you're making a bigger one here. That possibility exists. Come back here and then go. If they do that, actually, if this comes back here and go, that's a good buy. That will confirm this running flat for us. Then it becomes a very good buy. Aussie Swiss, still going sideways, but it's going to go up some more. Maybe not today. You're still getting some sideways move here. You probably look for that one up there. Something like this. It's becoming very corrective. I don't see why we needed something sharper. So maybe this whole thing is going to be much more complex than I think it is. So let's just stay away from it. Aussie CAD. Okay, so you're back to the top. Like I said, if you bought it, you probably close it for break even because it doesn't go, but you have a buy setup here again today. If this breaks out, we're breaking out of this structure, which means it could be very impulsive. This is a very nice one. Note to my traders. This is a very nice one. If we break out, we could get very impulsive. Go for the entry right here. You can actually put this on right now. Because if you go with this as the running flat, it's possible. This could get very impulsive out of the structure. Keep a low on, keep a stop under this low. I actually like it. So keep your eyes on this, and this could go. It might be ready to even go now. Let's take the, that was Aussie Swiss, right? Put it for a buy there. Aussie New Zealand. It's gonna go, it's probably going up too. This is probably upside. See, they're consolidating. So this would be all for the running flat, which is okay. This is enough. For this one, see that arrow there? We told it's going to come back. So now we can flip the arrow because we were expecting it to go up. Hopefully it's from this point. That is a buy setup. You could go for that. Eurocat is still in consolidation. We're going to get one more downside. I think it was ready to drop already. See this here? It's probably drop here, maybe even make a new low and then go back up. Okay, this is a big, we're still going down on a very slow move. We're in third and C wave kind of impulse going down. So you have to be careful with the sell. You have to take profit really quick. There, it's not a buy setup, it's a downside move. So if you want to sell, you're actually getting a good sell setup from this point. Just be careful like this one. Just be careful. This might drop here and still go back up one more. Just consolidating upwards. You're in New Zealand. It would be surprised if that takes off. Let it take off first, then make flags, and then you look for trades. You're in New Zealand. We're still sideways. And let's see if we get the sell set up here today. You want this to go a little more here, give you a running flat, and that becomes a very good trade for downside. If you get that going up a little more there, let's see if we can. Might be okay already. It depends on how you look at it. You could look at this as an expanding flat by itself. That is a separate expanding flat. If that is the case, then this one here will make a flat of its own, something like that, and then the sell comes in. Not great when they make so many flats close to each other. It means we can make a new high. Right? When you see the pattern looks like this, we're looking for an impulse to the downside, right? You've got a 1, you've got a 2, you've got a 3. And we're looking for an impulse. But when you see them start making so much corrections in this, it's kind of looking more like a corrective structure, which means even if they come here and they don't break out, they could make a new high. So we'd have to be careful of that, whether it's going to give you a buy. You don't have a buy set up on it right now. You also don't have a sell set up on it. So we'll probably wait in this for a better setup for the seller to buy. And then maybe tomorrow, the day after, we'll get it. Euro Yen. It's upside, but you're not going anywhere as yet, right? So, I mean, it's probably going to go very slow. See these moves, how they go, they make a spike and then they do this for a long time. So you're doing that, then you probably spike, then you get that. It's going to be very slow, not moving really fast. Euro Swiss, that was a sell and you probably took a break even out of it. The reason you took break even is because we were expecting this to break out and it didn't break out. It stopped, it go back up. That's a break even trade. It means we are still in the correction. And that means this could still go back, make a new high, and then come down back again. So if you get a buy setup here today, it's like this. You could go for the buy. Let's see if we have a buy setup in the 1 hour. Not really. It's not a good buy setup. Take this off. You close the trade somewhere here. Put an entry here for the buy. If you want the buy, I don't think it's a good buy. The buy will give you break-even trades as well because see, they just go up, pull back, go up, pull back, go up, pull back. So you'll not really get a good trade to the upside. It's a corrective. It's correcting to the upside. See this whole big correction? All you're going to do is make another flat. Go back there and make a more complex pattern. Euro Oz, this is a good sell. It's short term, but it's a good sell. Actually, you're getting a sell setup forming here. You just need a little flag here. You could go for that one. Something like this. See this little flag here? If you get something like that here, this is a good trade to the downside. You're going to look for one like this going down. So it's a good trade. It's almost ready to go. Just give it a couple hours to consolidate, prove the consolidation, and then you're ready to go. So this would be a smaller correction here in the impulse. And if we get that, where are we going? This could still be an impulse, and this is an impulse. So if you get this here, you're probably going to come back up and then go, something like that. I think we're going to get a bigger flat there. It's becoming very, very complex. Eventually, we're going to figure out it. But for now, the most immediate trade is a sell setup. Europound, just be careful. There's a buy setup here, but you have to be careful. There were a number of buy setups that didn't go. There were a number of buy setups here. This one kind of went, but it didn't go far. So can this drop lower here again? It's possible. They can do that again. The question is, do you have a sell setup? And the answer is no, you don't have a sell setup. Because every time you get something like this and you try to sell it, you will learn a lesson. 1 in 10 might go your way. 9 out of 10 is going to go the opposite direction. Now, there might be a buy setup here. You'd have to be cautious. You'd have to really, not that this would break out and go, because remember, this one didn't break out and go. That one would be a break-even trade or a very small loss because you would close it somewhere here. You can repeat the same process here and be careful if they do this and start a pullback. All right? If they do that pullback, you go for the sell. Like this was a sell setup if you wanted it, right? It didn't go anywhere, but you would have got break-even. And if this gives you a sell here and it goes, you're going to get break even. They'll pull back to that level because you can see they're doing this. And that means it's not going to give you a big trade to the downside as yet. Pangos, okay, we're setting up for a sell. I think we finally broke that top, so we're setting up for a sell. Yep. You got this sharp move up. You got a 1, 2, 3 done. You got a sharp move up. You broke the top. You're ready for this sell. So this is a good trade. If it comes all the way to the bottom. Now, can it come all the way to the bottom? Let's look at a bigger picture and see if that is possible. It is. You can come back here. You can still go back up after that. It's still possible, but you can also break through and go there. So this sell is a very good sell setup here today. If we get it, we'll definitely take it. Maybe from a much higher point than we're looking at right now. We don't have anything to sell higher, but we'll wait. If we get a flag, we'll take the trade. This is a very good setup. Pound New Zealand, you also broke the top, so you had an impulse. You had a flat, you got another impulse. So yesterday I told you if this come down, I'll close the trade, and it did come down here. We closed the trade here. I think it was this one came down, we closed the trade, and they're going up. So you got this 1, 2, 3, you get this, you get a flat here now, and we're ready for a sell. We will come to this level, and then we're expecting it to go back up because we have a big flat at the top here. See? So this is a sell setup here. And then the chances are we will go there, break the top, or we will go here, make a 1, 2, 3, come back here, and then go. See how this one was big? So this could also get very big. But today it's a sell setup. Let's see if we can get the sell from the top there. Punkad. Punkad also will have to give you a sell, but it's just not ready. We're breaking this top, so I don't think this is the C wave. It could be 1, 2, 3. This one going up as a squeeze there and then come down. Or it could be that this would just make a running flat, come back here, go back up there, and then drop with a big correction in here. And that is possible in the CAD, because if you look at the CAD in the bigger time frame, you would see that all the moves had very big correction in them. Take the first move down. You had a very big correction here. See? Take this move down. You had a big correction there. See that? Take this move up. You had a big correction here. Now you've got this move down, the one we sold. I wouldn't be surprised if they come here, go back up there, give us a big correction here, and then drop. So for today, tomorrow, maybe the whole of this week, we're going to be in this correction. And maybe next week we get that trade. But we can trade even in that correction. And when you get this trade and it's ready to go, you will be in it, just like we got this one, right? So it will come here, and then it will go back up. You want to know how I know? Or go back and watch this piece when this came down and when that went up. Although there are videos with this up and this down as well, but you don't have to go back that far. Just go back and watch these two moves and you will see that we knew what they're doing because it's a known pattern. It means whatever they're doing with the pung and the cat is creating a specific pattern. And when we look at these patterns, we can tell what is the next possible move in each one of those patterns on any time frame. So this is going up slowly, but I think it's still it could be a squeeze, which means this is 1, 2, 3, and they drop. But I doubt it's going to drop because we might stay in this consolidation for more. But it's a sell setup, right? This goes slowly. Doesn't matter where it goes. I'm not looking for the buy. I'm waiting for the sell setup to give me a flag here and I'll sell it. If it becomes a running flat here, go back up again. We'll get out of that trade. We'll maybe get this buy because that would be an impulse. Or skip the buy and look for the sell again. See? Pang Yen. Slowly but surely, if you took the trade, you closed it because it didn't go anywhere. It tagged you and it's not going. It's going up, but you don't have a good sales. You don't have a good buy setup. Right? If they keep going up like that, you will close the trade. Maybe if you're lucky, you can put an entry order high. If you're lucky, they spike. Right? But that's your hope. You're just hoping that you're going to get lucky because if they keep doing this, you'll probably get out of the trade. What you want them to do is make a correction down and then go. You want to see something like this downwards, and now you have a good trade to go. So either wait for the correction or hope that you get a spike, which means you're going to take about 6 break even before the spike comes. Pang Swiss is upside. You got a nice little flag here and it's going up slowly. You can see that. Where is it going? Buy. This could go quite a lot up. Right? Remember when we were trading it the last time to see whether it's going, when it comes here, what it's going to do. It's either going to break out or it's going to go back down. Well, they're breaking out of that structure. You had a consolidation, it's breaking out. When they reverse, they come here and they reverse really fast, right? They reverse really fast. They don't consolidate to the top. That consolidation means we're going up and this is going. And this could actually come all the way to that top. Maybe even higher. So that means you get buy setups, you can take the trade. Take this trade and be very careful because we still don't have this one. So if you get a flag here and you get a trade for this, once you get that, you have to move your stops into profit because at any time you can do this and then continue to go, completing this pattern. See? So be aware of that. New Zealand Swiss. If you get a sell setup, go for it. If they keep crawling up like this, ignore it. But if you get a sell setup, go for it because we're expecting one more down, right? We had this up. We got 1, 2, 3 down. We got this up. We're looking for this one down. So if that comes now, that'd be perfect. And then the upside. See? So let's see if we get it. New Zealand CAD, stay away from it. New Zealand Swiss, probably stay away from this one as well. It's just going sideways. It's going to go up one more, but I don't see the buy setup here as yet. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, if you get a buy setup here, if this makes a flag here, then maybe it's worth it. It wouldn't make a flag. That's the problem. If it makes a flag, then you don't want to buy it because it's not going up if it's make a flag, right? If this thing stays here long, it's just coming to this stop and then down back again. If it takes off now, you don't have much of a buy setup. You can only wait for a flag above here before you buy. So it's a risky trade. You'd have to make a decision. And this one, I would say stay away from it. Find something that is much better. Let's go. Okay, finally, we're getting the up move. You wanted to break the top here. You wanted to break this top. This was kind of a buy if you're keen in it, but you wanted to break this top. So maybe one more push up and then look for the sell. One more push to the upside and then look for that sell. The sell is very, very interesting because you're selling from the top. Let me just show you why the sell is more interesting than the buy. See where we are? We're at the top of this move here. We have a 1, a 2, and a 3 within this one. So if you get a sell set up there, the chances are they could come really, really, really fast to the downside. See this one? And you see this one? When they trend, they move really fast. So if we're going to reverse, just like this case, see that reversal there? If we're going to reverse this back down, then you should be interested in the sell, not the buy. So what we wanted to do is to break the top and then give us a sell setup. Come here and break this top and give us a sell setup. See? So are we going to get it? Well, I don't know. We'll see. Let's just wait some more. We'll see. Let it break the top. If it doesn't break that top, it could still go down as a contracting flat. And we could still go down as a contracting flat even if we don't break the top. So any flag you get now would be a sell setup. I think this is becoming very interesting now because of the bigger potential to the downside. US oil dropped a little more. We were expecting it yesterday to go slightly up, this piece to go up a little more like this, and to go up, probably come back to this top. And then the downside, well, they drop like that, no problem. That's not a big deal. All you have is a bigger correction here, right? So if you get a buy setup here to retest this top, is a good idea. Now, not that doesn't mean it's going to go there immediately because you're in a corrective structure. See, this becomes your impulse. And you're consolidating at the bottom half of this thing. So the more consolidation you get there, the better the chances for downside. I showed you this yesterday and I can show you again. Here is a good example. The more consolidation you get here when you're coming into something like this, the better your probability to go out. So if you repeat the same thing here, you're going to go down. If you can trade in here and make money, you can take this trade and make money. It's that easy. So train yourself to get this straight to the upside and then look for a sell setup. Let's see if we can get this to the upside today, and then we'll be looking for a sell setup. I'll probably, let's see, we're getting a flag here actually forming now. So by the time the New York open, we might get a trade. Right, there's a flag forming here. See this? I hope they stay here for another couple hours. So when New York open, this would be a very good trade to the upside. UK oil, same thing. This one is even much better structurally because you can actually see this. You see this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is upside. And you have this 1, 2, 3 to go, right? So you kind of go this way up, pull back here, and then go there. And now you have a big corrective structure in play. So this is a good buy if this goes. If this is going to drop, you don't have a sell setup. You can't sell here. All right, based on the analysis and the way we look at things, it could drop, but that's not a sell setup. That doesn't have a 90% or 80% probability. That's probably 1 in 10, maybe 10% probability of less. Natural gas, yep, we'll get to the low. So we wanted to come to this low. So you have an arrow there, and then we're going to look. You have a sell setup here. You could go with it, let it drop to this level, and then we start to look for the buy. If you want to sell, you can go for it. See, it's pretty easy. We have this, and we want this to come here, and then we're going to go for this one. Now, it could get more complex than that, which means they can come here and go back up there and come back here and go back up there and come back here and go back up there, and then probably take off, or even come back here and then take off. But every time they come to this low, it's a buy setup you're looking for. So we're coming back to the low, which means there is a short-term sell set up to that low now that is forming. You get a short-term sell forming here. And by the time it gets there, you're looking for the buy. So if you want to sell, it doesn't have to get to the low, but if you take it, good for you. If it gets there, it could even get a lower than that. Good for you. That's a good trade. This turned out to be a good one. This pattern worked. It broke out. It didn't go lower. All you had to do is get an entry out of there or take any one of the flags you have in it. So what do we have now? We made 1, we made 2, we made 3. What are the chances they will break this top? I think it's rare. Right? It could be a running flat and they break the top, but I'm not expecting them to break the top. So that you don't start getting ideas as to why we think this is going to come down here, because you have one like that here already. It's just pretty easy. You just have to go and look back. We have 1. See this consolidation here? They made 1, they made 2, they made 3, they come back here. You have a big consolidation, they go there, the chances are they're going to come back. So as you get closer to the top, you're looking for a sell setup. Now they can break the top and then come back making a running flat. In this case, we had a contracting flat, right? That possibility exists, but it's rare. Well, running flats are not rare, sorry. Running flats are more common. But in this case, I should have probably clarified. In this case, the way this one is structured, it is rare that this would make a running flat. I should clarify that. This pattern, I'm not expecting to make a running flat because it's structured a specific way. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get a sell setup here today, maybe a little more up, wait for a flag, look for a sell. Do we have anything for a buy there to continue to go? Maybe yes. You're getting any consolidation? You're getting some consolidation, so you could still get one more up like this. You could still get one more up here. It's short term. So if you take that buy, you will have to be careful as it comes to the top. Where is the top again? Let me put a line for the top. So as you come closer to this top, you'd have to be very careful, because I don't think this one is going to make a running flat. But you can buy and just be careful, get out of it, and then look for the sell setup once it turns. US 30, same thing, it's going, and you have more buy setups. Right, this one keeps going, it keeps going, you're getting more. If you get more buy setups here, you can go with it. You have to be careful now, you're getting divergence, that's momentum dying out. So every buy becomes, like I said yesterday, every buy becomes your very last trade to the upside. So if you get this buy, and if you're going to go for a buy here, that should be your very last trade to the upside. You treat it like if it's going to be your last trade to the upside, take profit. Don't keep it, because if you took the buy here and you kept it, you're back at square one. There's no sense in doing that. Right? S&P 500, this one went a lot more. So you had this one, you had that one, you got this one, you're getting another one there. One more impulse, take profit. If this drops lower and make a flag, you're definitely selling. Any sell setup you get in this thing, you're taking it. Any 1 hour sell setup. Right now it's a 1 hour upside. This looks more upside. Right now, see, that looks more upside, one more. But once they drop and they give you a flag, we're selling. So the buy, you have to take it. One impulse, take profit. Every time you get an impulse, take profit. Don't try to keep it for a longer run. Same here. DAX is going up. Look, you can buy some more still. It's still buy setup. All right, it's still going up. We do have some divergence here. That's only 1 hour. Yep, you still have. But internally in this last piece, we don't have divergence, which means this could go some more. This here could make pull back and go, pull back and go, pull back and go. So every pullback you get, you can buy. Just make sure you take the profit off. AU200, this one actually broke out of the lower range, which was this range. Strangely, they broke out. I thought they'll come back to the bottom, break the low first, then go. Well, they didn't do that. So once they didn't, I looked back at the pattern and said, maybe I missed something. Remember, we had this low, and I said, maybe that would be the low, but I don't think it is still. I still think we're in the correction, except now we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So all we have is a bigger range in play. See this flat here now? This flat belongs to this down, up, down move. So you get 1, you get 2, and you get 3. You get 1, you get 2, and you get 3. Yeah, I look for a 1, 2, and the 3 here. And then the upside. So if you get a sell setup, it's worth taking. The third wave doesn't have to be similar to the first and the second one. It could be really sharp, right? And if it is sharp to the downside, good for you. So the third wave is worth going for. If it's a sharp one to the downside, take this out from this and put it here now, because this is the lowest point. Okay, we've got 2 of that. I don't think that's enough for it to take off. I believe we'll come down back for 1 more, and then we'll be ready to go, maybe. Because we've got this one, and we've got that one. So come back here, give us a correction here. Come here and then go. Give us a flat in here. Maybe a smaller one, much smaller one. All right. Nifty. Nifty is pretty much in a similar kind of structure. This is the top. If you sold that, you probably got break even. Can we look for a buy into this here now for the upside back to the top? Yeah, it's possible. If you look at this as an expanding flat, a small expanding flat, and there's a chance you could get back to the top there. It's in a consolidation, so I'll be very careful of any buy and sell. As long as you stay in here, you have to be careful of which direction you're going for the trade, right? So, but if you get a small, put an entry above the top, that looks good to me. Tesla, more upside. Amazon, more upside. Amazon is becoming very fast now. So Amazon, if you're following me since January, we were showing you Amazon step by step how these patterns form. So we gave you this one, we gave you that one, we gave you this one, we gave you this. See, the arrows are still here. We gave you this and we gave you this. Well, now we've got this completed. We can actually move the arrow slightly. It came lower. We can move this arrow slightly because it's not going up as sharp as we wanted, but it's going up like this. See, we'll get there. We can move this arrow slightly here because we think it's going to come here now. And then we're going to move this slightly. Just move them in terms of time. Structurally, they're still the same. See? So structurally now, this is going to go back here. We're going to complete 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We still have this one. 1, 2, 3. Is it going to happen? Well, if the last one doesn't happen, do you really care? You're in a buy right now. You should be in this buy. I told you about that buy from here. So what if I'm wrong and this thing takes off? You're one happy person. But it's unlikely because you have to be aware when you get to this level that it might not go further. That's all. We're informing you that based on what we see here, there's a likelihood it's going to come here. We told you that when we were in this one, when we made 1, 2, 3, that likely they're just going to come here, break this top, and come back down. We told you this one was going to go up. Go back and watch the webinars. And I kept this here. I told you I'm going to keep all these lines here so that you would see how patterns develop. Why they develop like that? I have no idea. And it absolutely has nothing to do with whatever you're hearing in the news. Because if you believe that this is moving because of the news, you have to believe that I can see the news before it happens. You have to believe I have some superpower. If you're telling me that this up move is going because of some news that is happening yesterday or today or tomorrow is going to happen, you have to believe that I have superpower. Because those arrows were there waiting for you. And I don't know what the news is going to be tomorrow. It's that simple. Just look at it that way. I don't have any superpower. I could hardly tell what I'm going to do in the next 2 hours. I don't even know what I'm going to do the next 2 hours. But these are known patterns. It's that simple. These are known way the chart behaves. When it starts behaving, whatever they're doing creates these patterns. And you can make the forecast that if you have these 2 pieces, you're likely going to have a third piece like this. And if that third piece turned out to be a little different, you can have a fourth piece like this. And then you can have a fifth piece like that. And the more it gets complex, the more you start reading into it, the more you see how it's going to happen. And guess what? 80 to 90% of the time, we're correct about the pattern we're forecasting. Sometimes we're wrong. We get the first piece wrong because, okay, it's a little more complex than we thought. And then it becomes a little more complex than we actually forecast. A good example of that is the Aussie New Zealand. I keep showing you that. For the last 4 years, I'm talking about an impulse going up, and it's still not an impulse going up. We finally now know it's not. Last year, we knew it was not going to be an impulse to the upside. The impulse is going up, but not the impulse we're looking for because it became a running flat. It took 3 years to tell us that is going to be a running flat, but that's a yearly pattern, and that's how long it will take to make that pattern. So if you still don't believe in wave analysis, you should show this. Or if you know any trader who says, oh, that's all nonsense, wave analysis doesn't work, show them this. Go and take clips of all the webinars that I showed with this piece. And a number of trades you can pick like that. I showed the New Zealand, I showed the New Zealand yen. There's a number of them you can pick. And take this piece and show them piece by piece, step by step, that those arrows were there way before it happened. They were there sitting knowing that that's the direction it's going to go. How? You guess, right? It works. You just have to be able to read into the patterns. That's all. And we have one for the upside. Do I know what is going to drive Amazon to the up there? Oh, I wish I knew. I'll probably go tell somebody else, right? You don't have to know why. You just have to know that's how it behaves. Why? The people who are moving the market knows why. There's an 80% chance that this pattern will play out exactly the way I draw it. That's a very good chance. 80% is really high. So far, we're about 60% correct because we've got 3 moves out of 5 moves correct. There were 5 arrows there at the start. So we've got 3 of them already correct. The 4th one is done. This will be the 4th one, and this will be the 5th one. And we'll be 100% correct. See? patterns work. This will go up. I can tell you the last one is definitely going to happen. I don't know whether this fourth one will happen, because we're looking at the pattern this way. Now, there could be that we're missing some kind of a contracting flat inside. We're not going to look at those contracting flats. And this is the one that takes off. So the last one is absolutely going to happen. The question is whether this would come back here. I am, based on the way I'm looking at the internals, I think there's a high probability for this to happen. Right? The way I look at those internal patterns, that's a very high probability. Is there any other variation internally in here? Maybe. But right now, I don't want to confuse it by looking any other way. These looks very good. I'll stick with those. What if I'm wrong? Well, you're in the buy. You're in the buy here. If you're trading this and you're in the buy here, it doesn't matter where they come back here. If they actually take off, you'll be happy you're wrong. You should be, oh, well, good, I'm wrong, but it's going my way. So great. I'll just stay with it. Right? But though, you know that what if you're up here and it starts to pull back and it makes a flag? You're like, you know what? Maybe I'll just stick around with it. No, if you know that there's a chance to come back here, you're like, you know what? I'm going to get the hell out of it and wait to see whether it's up or down. Because the chances are it's going to come back here. And if you have a stop here, you're out of the trade. Or you would probably exit the trade anywhere in here, which is for less than you actually bargained for. And then you'll be confused. Why is it going back down? But if you know that that is a possible pattern and it can come back down, that wouldn't confuse you. You would actually get out for maximum profit and you would manage to even sell it and then buy it back from the low. SLR, same thing. Drop, pull back. Told you they can go back up a little to the trend line, right? Because this is a corrective structure downwards. This is going to go back here. It's still coming down. This is a corrective structure downward. Look at this one. Look at this one. This is a correction downward. So if you took that trade, you got break even, no problem. You're trading in the correction. Can this take off and break the top? I don't think so. I don't think we're making a bigger correction to go, but you can buy it. And then you'll figure out once it break out how far it's going to go. So if you want to buy this, this was your sell setup. This was a buy and this was a buy if you saw that, but forget about that. If you get a buy setup here and you buy, once it breaks out of the structure and come close to the, I have two trend lines there, right? I assume I had one. I don't know where it went. You got a second one. Well, once it comes to the trend line, the trend line itself is irrelevant. What I'm looking for is a structure, whether they're going to break out of the structure. So once it comes to that level, you just move your stops very tight, see if they break out. This one dropped a little more. You're consolidating, see whether it's going to drop a little more. If they consolidate there, they drop one more. It's still a correction. As of now, this is still a correction downwards. Reliance. We're making more corrections here. Either a running flat or a bigger running flat here, and then drop. So there are two possibilities of running flat in there. You'll have to decide which one is forming right now. I think both of them will play out. PayPal, yeah, you probably get a little more up still, and then look for the down. Now, this could go higher, but the minimum requirement for me to say that's a flat pattern is breaking the top. And it can be more complex. As of now, we will go with the simplicity of 1, 2, 3. But if we see anything else that change in this move to the downside that makes the whole pattern more complex, then we will show you all the complexity of it. As of now, we will stick to simple three-wave structure because it right now looks like a simple three-wave structure. Bitcoin. Still going sideways. You're still in this big sideways here now. And that looks upside. Right? If you're going like this and you're consolidating at the top there, that is upside. At least one more upside, that's for sure. One more impulse up. How far would that take you? Well, take it and you'll see. I have no idea because this is going there. You can put a target anywhere you want, but that is not reliable. You just have to take it and hope that it goes as far as you would like it to go. But in case it doesn't go that far, you have to get the hell out of it. Don't be the last person to get out of it if you're taking it, right? XRP, we broke the top now. So what next, right? We wanted it to break the top. They broke the top. What next? Well, if this do what we think it is doing, which is 1, 2, 3, then we need to get this one down. So at some point, we'll start to see this come back to this level, and we will get this running flat, after which you should get the upside. So I'm expecting this to come back down a little. Now, I don't know that it's going to come back. But based on the pattern that we're looking at, there's a high probability of this thing coming down back. Because I don't think this is all the correction. There's many reasons why that can't be all the correction. If that was all the correction, that's not an impulse. See how easy it is? If that is the correction, this is not an impulse. So if this is not an impulse, then what the hell is this? This has more correction than that. So this has to be the more corrective phase of that whole structure, leaving you with 1, 2, 3. And that means come back here. I think I showed you this already, the possibility of a running flat here, come back here, and then upside. So you can look for sell setups, or you can wait for it to drop to a certain level here, wait for the, I don't know, 4 to 20, whatever, how far it's going to come back, and then look for buy setups, because the next buy setup is going to be the big move to the upside. Well, it should be the big move to the upside. So if this comes back into this level here, which would be, I'll probably put the low, and it will not tag the low. It's unlikely they're going to tag the low. If it's a running flat, we'll not tag this low. And we're looking at this low here. Sorry, this low. We should come back somewhere within our 30, under the 40, somewhere there, right? We might have something very similar to this going down, which is a drop, a correction, and a drop, and then upside. Something similar to that is what I'm looking for. Let's see. Can it become a more long, drawn-out running flat? That is possible. It's also rare, but it's possible. Whereas this consolidate here, go back more, consolidate, go more, and then give you this, and then go like that. See, that possibility also exists. So if you get a correction here, you might want to consider a buy. If you get another correction, consider a buy. But be aware that this is likely going to come. So if you're in those buys, you will take profit. Before this comes, take out all your profit and then go, right? You want to see one like that? Look, it's here. See this? See that sharp one? Then you get a flag, 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 and then up there, complete that pattern, and then come down. So all you're doing for is a reverse of that here, and then go up. Simple. Let's see if we get it. Okay, this is already going. Wait for more flags. Buy. Go back to the 1 hour. You're getting more correction here. Probably a little down here now. You got a 1, 2, 3 there. So a little down here, and then you're looking for buy setups. Linked, same thing. You're looking for a little more correction down because you've got a 1, 2, 3 here. Let it come back a little and then look for upside. This is a flat. That'd be upside. ETH. Here is another one. I think somebody wrote it's not going to come back. I don't know that. I looked at people who said, oh, this is gone. It's not going to come back. And I'm like, based on what? Based on what you think it's not going to come back here? I'm basing the fact that it's going to come back here based on patterns that I know. I'm telling you there's a high probability for this to come back here because it's based on patterns that I've studied in the chart in the past, and I believe it will come back. So one guy went and he made a comment and said, I don't know what you're talking about. This thing is never going to come back here. I'm like, based on what? Your gut feeling? Well, trade your gut feeling if that's what is it. I think there's a high probability for this to happen because I'm looking at this as a flat in the middle there, and I've seen thousands of those patterns. This coming back here and then taking off. Can they go one more high? Yes, it can become a long drawn out running flat, which means if they come back here and consolidate in this area, then you can get one more, they can consolidate, get one more, and then they'll do this, and then it will go. So if you get a flat, buy. If you get another flat, buy. Take profit because one of this is coming. And then it will go. If they come back from here, then good for you. I don't think they're coming down from that level. This doesn't look like a sell setup. That looks like a buy setup to me. Short term, this looks like it's going to come back here. We'll get one of those smaller running flats, one more up. You can buy this. But then you'd have to be careful that that might not go very far. If you're aware that this big move is still open, that might not go very far. Dash, let's see what this has. 4 hour. Same here. We've got to move up, we've got to move down, and we've got to move up. This is the impulse into that. Can it go break the top of that impulse? Yes, it can. But in this type of patterns, that is rare. When you get a deep pullback like that, going to break that top is a rare system. This normally come a little here. This normally comes a little more up and then come back here before they go, giving you a bigger flat like this. Now, could this be a contracting flat like this piece here? It could, but that also is weird looking. Let's put it that way. I don't see many contracting flats looking like that. So I would not go with that as a contracting flat. What do you have a sell setup here? No, you have a buy setup. So you had a buy setup here. Let's go back. You had a buy setup here. You had a buy setup here. You didn't have anything here. Now you're getting a buy setup here. If they come back here and go, so you can still buy. You have to be aware that every buy you take now could be the last one before you get a bigger drop and then they go back up. If you're trading these things long term, this analysis is irrelevant to what you're doing. So I have traders who bought Ripple, I don't know, at 11 and they're still holding it, right? And I mean, they bought it years ago back and they're still holding, and they're not going to sell it no matter what happened until it gets to about $3, $4. And that's okay. That's a plan. That's a long-term plan. They just invest into it and leave it. It come back to 10, they're not worried about that. They'll still hold it. Right? If you're doing that because you're pretty sure it's going to go to $3, $4, and then you will book your profit, then great. That's a plan. Okay, this is still going up. I don't see anything else but upside in this so far. It still looks upside. The correction might have ended here or here, and they're going up. So put it in a 4-hour. Look for buy setups, take it. Whatever this is, look for buy setups, take it. This one didn't, it kind of dropped slightly here, but it didn't drop through for a sell. It goes back up. So how would we look at this? Let's see if we have any running flat. Nope, I don't see. I don't think this makes a running flat. We probably get a running flat here and go back one more up. See that? There's probably give you a running flat here and go back one more up. I could see that possibility. This pattern, would we get this one more down? Very likely. I don't know from where. Would likely break this top, go back up there a little more. We could even break this top. But then this one is also possible because you have a 1, 2, 3 in here in that sharp move. So chances this would come back here and then go. So if it breaks the top, it would be a running flat. If they don't break the top, we're looking for a simple regular flat and then go. Let's see if we get it. Right now in the shorter term, they all look one more down before they go up, right? See that? On the short-term trade, this didn't go anywhere. Kind of small flat in here in this sharp one. So I think a sharp move down here and one more up is still possible for a running flat here. Right? If you get a correction here and you buy, that's one impulse. Take one trade, take the impulse, take the profit off because the down move is very high probability. ADA, you're getting a buy setup now. It's going sideways. So this would be a buy setup. Come here and go back up. That's a buy setup. Buy it back at least to this top and then we'll see what happens because I don't know what this is doing here as yet. The pattern is not very clear. But at least you can buy this back to that side for a 1, a 2, and a 3. And then we'll see if they come back down. Then it will start to make more sense to us. Right? The more pieces you get, the more you'll get a more complex pattern in there. So this is a buy setup, and you'll see what you do with it. So guys, that's all that I see in the charts. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to share this with a friend, and I would see all of you tomorrow. Take care. Have a great day. Trade with care. Thank you. Bye-bye. My traders who are in the live session, please move over to trading room now. We will go and put on trades. Take care. Bye.